Welcome back to the weekly portfolio update videos. Currently, my stock portfolio sit at a combined value of just over 52,000 AUD. That's made up of the $21,062 in my US portfolio, which is equivalent to just over 31,000 AUD, and my $20,580 in my Vanguard portfolio. Going through the portfolios, not much has changed. I did do a recent $1,000 investment into my Vanguard portfolio, which I decided to invest into VGS, but more on that later. First of all, today I wanted to go through my stake portfolio and go through one of my main holdings, which is Costco. Costco recently just reported its earnings. I'll be going through how they went, and also their special dividend announcement. If you've been following this channel for a while, or have tuned into some of the videos, I often speak about Costco as one of my favorite investments and one of the staples in my portfolio. Currently, my position is $1,365 worth of equity, which is 2.07 shares at an average share price of $494 a share. Currently the stock trades at $658 a share, meaning I'm up 33%. Recently in one of my new videos, I was talking about how if the stock dropped down under 550, I'd be investing even more. And since then, the stock has absolutely skyrocketed, up 10% in the last month. Yahoo Finance put out a little article going through Costco's recent earnings. Costco rolls out a special dividend as Q1 results top estimates, and valuations too rich, says analysts. So yeah, I do agree, the valuation has shot up and I won't be investing into it anytime soon, but it's great for me currently being a shareholder. They said Costco reported fiscal quarter earnings results that topped Wall Street's estimates, and discounted retailers rolled out special dividends to shareholders. Costco Wholesale Corp was up 2% in the pre-markets on Friday trading following the report. Costco reported a fiscal Q3 earnings of $3.58 per diluted share on revenue of $57.8 billion, beating analyst expectations of EPS of $3.40 and revenue of $57.73 billion. Comparable sales in the quarter increased 3.9%, led by the growth in the USA and Canada, up 2.6% and 8.2% respectively, while international was up 7.1% in the quarter. The company declared a special dividend of $15 per share, payable January the 13th to shareholders of a record as December 28. Analysts say the results were strong. Costco's strong value offering, high renewal rates, and club expansion plans make Costco well positioned in our view. Analysts are saying the same type of things that I've been saying for a little while with Costco, as it's great stability, and I've always said it has one of the best business models in the world. Costco does trade at a premium. I mean, you can look at the PE ratio, which is in the 40s, and think that is incredibly expensive for a retail wholesale company. That's more of the PE ratio that you expect from a fast-growing tech stock. But there's a reason people pay so much for Costco. Costco over the last 3 years is up nearly 80% and is up 42% in just the last year. So on top of getting a 42% return, you're also getting these special dividends and consistent payments and a strong position that you know won't be going down in your portfolio that you can hold as a blue chip. And even if it does trade down, you're not worried about it in the long term. That's one of the reasons why I always harp on about Costco, and why I would have loved to have grown my position closer to $2,000. Costco does do these special dividends every few years. Their last one was in 2020, and I believe it was around $10 a share. So this announcement to lift it all the way to $15 a share comes as the company has extra profits. So the company's sitting on extra cash, meaning they have a few options. They can either do share buybacks, but like it says, the valuation's too rich, so certain stakeholders wouldn't enjoy that. If they're doing share buybacks at this type of price, they might deem it too high at the moment to be investing back in, where what they can do is pay out this extra spare dividend to investors to reward them for being in the stock and hopefully give them extra money which they can decide to do with whatever they want. They could also potentially just reinvest it right back into Costco, but this makes shareholders happy and it lets them get rid of that extra money on their balance sheet. They still have more than enough money to cover all their long-term and short-term debts, meaning the company has not been affected in terms of its stability. Because I have 2 shares, it means I'll be getting $30, which might not seem like a lot, but because this position is still fairly small, it's still nice to get those dividend payments in and be rewarded for holding a strong company I wasn't planning on getting rid of anyway. Speaking of the valuation, it is now trading at $658 a share, and like I said, that's up 4.45% today. This is not a price that I'm looking to buy in right now, but if the stock does end up plateauing or trading down, then it's definitely something I'll be looking into. I know I said that at around 550, and I do kick myself for not investing again, but right now it's just a little bit too high for my liking, even though I do believe in Costco. You can still believe in a stock and not decide to invest in it at certain prices, because the price that you invest in, whilst it might have good returns, I know I've seen it for myself in my portfolio where there's certain positions, even like VOO with the S&P, I was dollar cost averaging, whilst the prices was in the 420s and higher ranges, and that meant my average price skyrocketed. It's now only $390 a share, but it meant my returns were a lot smaller than what they would have been if I had just invested when it was a bit lower and held my positions. But the goal is still with this portfolio, not to worry too much about the returns now, but to worry more on like a 5-year, 10-year basis. Currently, you can see the stock portfolio has just broken the 20% up range and is now up 3,519 USD. This has been a great year. If you can recall, back probably around a year ago, there was points where I was even down close to 10-15%. So my stock portfolio has shot up over 30% in just the last year. I've been investing in this portfolio for over 3 years now, which means if you break it out over the 3 years, it means I'm up or close to around 7% a year, which isn't amazing, but over these 3 years I've been able to learn, especially whilst my portfolio is smaller and I'm still young. There hasn't been any recent transactions in my account, and the last one actually was a dividend by Costco for $2.11. I will hopefully invest a bit more money soon, but I'll probably wait till the new year to put some money into my stake portfolio. Going through the rest of my positions, I'll be doing a video going through and breaking down what positions I'm looking to keep, what I'm looking to sell, and changes I'm looking to make. One position that I am a bit stuck on the fence on is my Amazon position. It's so small that even though it's up 12%, the $7 changes absolutely nothing in my portfolio. So I might potentially just sell out of it to clean up my portfolio and make it a bit neater. Apple's actually been my best performing stock. It used to be Microsoft, but now my Apple position is up nearly 41%. Apple, like Costco, has traded up to a valuation where I'm not comfortable investing at the moment. It's nearly at $200 a share, which is crazy considering my average share price is $140, and I was buying it at points of even $125. These are all companies that I still believe in long term. The likes of JP Morgan, which has recently shot up as well. It's now up 17%, and if you look at the last month, 10%, and even the last 3 months, it's just been a really, really strong year for all stocks, especially when you compare it to 2022. I know when I was doing videos last year, it was almost sad at times logging on and seeing your portfolio down in the red again, but I was still investing money, and now's the time where I'm reaping the benefits for it. Positions such as Microsoft, that I have been investing in for the full 3 years, has really been a strong performer for me. It's something that I was looking at investing in recently until I saw it was up 50%, and I know that's not something that should deter you if you still think it's at a reasonable price, but it's hard to justify investing into my US positions at these skyrocket prices and with such high recent trading ups. Going through my Vanguard portfolio, it's a little bit different. So this portfolio is more focused on even a longer term than the 5-10 years of my stake portfolio. This is more of a retirement, extra money I might even draw from if I'm going for a house, but just money I'm setting aside where I get a much larger dividend, and the focus is a bit more on just extra stability and not really going too much for capital gains. Obviously you still want to get capital gains, but I also need to make some decisions on what I'm going to do in this portfolio. I own a really small position in VHY, which is Australian Share High Yield ETF. So this is a bit of a collection of stocks that pay high dividends and again, look at the return over the past year, 1.59%. Not ideal, and yeah, it's just probably something that I'll probably be looking at changing. My largest position is my VLC position, which is $11,702, and I own 154 shares. So when I get my dividends, the majority is actually from this position. And again, it's had a weak year, like a lot of Australian stocks have, up over only 2.18%, especially when I compare it to my US positions, which some of them are even up 40%. In comparison, I do also have VGS, which I did recently invest $1,000 into, which sits at $8,105. In my 73 shares, the position has gone up over 14% this past year, which is much better than my other positions. I've slowly grown this to give me a bit more exposure into worldwide shares in my Vanguard account. Sadly, I can't invest into VOO like I do in my US stake portfolio, as it's not available on the Australian Vanguard, but this is one of the closest ways I can get to it in terms of having similar holdings. As you can see, it's got most of the major big players like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Alphabet. These are positions that I have in my main portfolio, and it's kind of the staples. So this is my substitute of VOO for my Vanguard portfolio. I still get a decent dividend from it, but nowhere near as big as my VLC position and my VHY position for its size. But hopefully next month I will be getting another dividend from it, which can be in the $300 range, fingers crossed, and I'll just reinvest it, probably into VGS as I slowly grow. But the price of VGS has shot up, especially in comparison to VLC, so I'll have to make a decision when I sell my other positions where I want to allocate my cash. You might recall I did a quick little update in my last video about my actual trading positions, so I decided to put a little bit of pocket change into my trading positions and just kind of move a little bit of money around and just have a bit of fun. I was hoping to learn just a bit more about trading and how it works and everything. As you can see, I've got a really small overall positions. I've just kind of been messing around, picking random stuff, and I've never invested in cryptocurrency before. I'm more than likely just going to sell them, but I was given the Bitcoin and the Ethereum. I just bought them there because I had some extra funds. But yeah, the three others, I'm just learning how to trade. I don't think it's something I'll do for long term, but it's nice to do this as a bit of a, you could almost say like a separation away from my long-term portfolios. And again, it's a really small amount. It's only $170, so I'm not too worried about it. But if I do end up doing it long term, or if I do something interesting, I'll probably do some updates on the portfolio and just how it's kind of sitting. I also wanted to go through how my portfolio is weighted at the moment, how things are kind of looking, and I'll do a much longer wrap down video at the end of the year and kind of like my goals for the new year. But it's so nice looking through these and looking at these graphs. I do track other stuff as well, like my personal finances on this Excel spreadsheet, so maybe one day I'll go through that. But just looking at my stake positions, how nicely it's traded up, and same with my Vanguard. And it's just nice to see the rewards of working and investing my money and kind of seeing it nicely put out in a graph, because sometimes it feels like you're just putting extra money aside and you don't really see the rewards because I'm not selling anything. But I'm trying to have a long-term outlook and just kind of be positive on how everything's going. Overall, today the main thing I wanted to go through was Costco and just kind of go through the $15 special dividend and my plans for it. The portfolio is again sitting at a combined value of over $52,000, so it's nice to get there before the end of the year, and then hopefully before the end of next year I can hit the $100,000 mark as I get a bit more at my job and I continue to the compound interest and reinvesting my dividends. But that was all for now. Cheers.